Dear listener, there is not so much that John Cleese and I have in common. Is there, Lottie?
No.
John Cleese and me, we ain't got much in common. He seems to be one of these, like, shouty Brexits sort of guys. A bit disappointed. I ain't got that much in common with John Cleese, but what I am going to share in common with Basil Fawlty today is I'm going to be a don't mention the war person, because we know that everything is absolutely horrible, and I know this is me talking about the war, but this is the not the introduction. This is the preface, which I thought until I was about probably 19 called the preface, but no, it's the preface. But why don't I want to talk about all the horrible things today? The fact that West Asia, what we call the Middle East, is being blown up at the moment, and that the world is, it turns out, run by a group of crazy baby eaters. And not just the world, but a lot of organizations in our society. And, you know, the thing is, right, you know, like people talk about aliens and say, oh, they walk among us. Do they walk among us? I'll tell you a little secret, they do, because I'm one of them, sounds Lottie. But don't tell your friends. Or maybe do.
I don't want to get burnt at the stake.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to be. Anyway. You don't want to be a steak either.
No, I really don't.
So the reason that I don't want to talk about any of this absolutely horrible stuff, the genocide of the Palestinian people, and now the genocide that's being committed in Lebanon, where they're basically repeating the same playbook that they used in the Gaza Strip, which many people I know, particularly in my family, don't talk to me anymore because I opposed this, and they say things like, oh, no, well, you know, some of those Muslims, even when the evidence is there that 38 million people at least have died at the hands of the USA since 1946, and people who claim to be sort of scientifically minded and in favour of statistics, when faced with statistics about the violence committed by their culture in contrast to the Islamic world, then they suddenly don't believe statistics, and whoa, some of those Muslims. So I don't want to talk about this nonsense today, because actually we'd be maybe preaching to the converted, because I would hope most people listening to Sound Out Radio are not crazy people who think that child killing is sometimes okay, and hey, baby eating, that's just what they do. Hey, what you gonna do? I've concluded by this point in my life, after almost 3 years of this nonsense and the situation where it is now, and the impact that has had on my personal relationships, mainly with family members, I give up. I absolutely give up trying to get through to any of you people, because you're too far gone down the propaganda black hole, and you can't see truth when it is standing in front of you, dressed as a big pink elephant, covered in Morris bells, in a 27-foot top hat. Oh well, but some of those Muslims, no. So, we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about other things. And it's not going to be entirely non-current affairs-based, because there are some very pressing matters in terms of current affairs that need to be resolved. For example, Lottie, what about, nobody's been talking about this problem. It's turned out that quite a lot of the conspiracy theories turned out to be true. I tended to not believe conspiracy theories mainly because of the kind of people who go on about them.
Yeah, it gets to a point where it's just you can't hear it anymore.
Yeah, you can't hear it anymore. You know, the conspiracy theory thing has been a whole double bluff, because at the same time, the conspiracy theorists say that the Earth is flat and that and that there are that Jeffrey Epstein and George Bush are lizards. Which they're not. They're really humans. Not. This is human behaviour.
They're just on cocaine.
Yeah, this
That's
is
it.
the behaviour of humans on cocaine.
Shift about is because they are never not on cocaine.
Yeah.
These people.
So that's just human behaviour, so the conspiracy theorists, a lot of it has turned out to be true. Certain things of it won't turn out to be true. For example, folks, I'm really sorry to break it to you, but the Earth isn't flat. It's a ball in space, just like all the other balls in space. And we are speeding through space and circling around a big ball of flame with lots of other balls locked in orbit and cascading endlessly into the abyss. And I think you maybe want to think that the Earth is flat because somehow that's comforting to you, because you don't like the idea that we're just vaulting into night. You know, that's what existence
But
is.
It's fine because it's full of.
That's the nature of it, and it's wonderful.
And
full of disco balls.
Of raspberries.
Yeah.
So it's alright.
Deep space smells like raspberries. Did you know that, dear listener?
Did you? And you know, when you get to the point beyond where light can reach, I was reading a guy's written a paper about how when you're beyond the cosmic horizon, beyond where light can reach, everything starts to behave in a very strange way. A bit like descriptions of biblical or religious heaven, basically. So he reckons that we know where it is and that we can get there by...
Pretty splendid. We're discovering like, new amazing things are discovered every day and all the time.
It's like beyond where the universe is expanding. Apparently there everything's really weird and wibbly, and like flatland.
There's some statistic.
I mean, it's quite exciting, really.
There's some statistic that, like, I can't remember the exact amount, but it's something like in the rainforest every day they find 50 new species of beetle. The implication of that is that we haven't started to discover anything at all, even about our own planet.
They are probably in the rainforest are probably like, sort of like some guy. So you know what I mean? Yeah. He's on his own. So if he had more than that, I doubt there's that many people really sort of giving caring about.
Yeah.
Given judging by the current societal system, I'd say it's probably like a small group of people who are involved in anything good.
Okay, well, what...
So imagine how many Beatles they could count if everybody liked Beatles.
Exactly.
And didn't just
That's
like
a very
the
nice
Beatles.
Thought. Yeah. Okay, so given that we're in like the post-conspiracy theory time when most of the conspiracy theories turn out to be like reality, and now if you talk about reality, people think you're a conspiracy theorist, which is a great piece of propaganda. I will acknowledge that. Well done. That is a very interesting, very
like
good piece of propaganda.
Really kind of, sort of,
not good in any sense, but
it's almost like something that
all
will be thought
bad.
up on cocaine, isn't it?
Like seemingly everything else in our culture.
It really feels like it's being run by men who are perverts on cocaine, and women as well.
Weirdly it does, doesn't it?
There's a lot of women involved. Oh look, I'm talking about it again.
Yeah. So we don't mention everything horrible, except It's difficult. We're trying, aren't we? We're trying.
Yeah,
We're doing our best.
There's only so
we
much
have to be
you can
magic
take
fun
of
time.
just talking about sort of like locally sourced sort of whatever bodies of other species and jam festivals before you have to talk about reality.
But I think that as deluxe entertainers, we can skirt the periphery of this subject in speculative ways. So, for example, if we are living in the age where all the conspiracy theories, well, most of them, turn out to be true, then we're going to need some new ones. We're going to need new conspiracy theories. So get your thinking caps on, guys. What are stupid people going to do without, conspiracy theories? So I would like to propose the first conspiracy theory here, which I will not attribute to myself. This one is Lottie's. Check this out. Keir Starmer is Banksy. Yeah, that guy, the bloke who they're photographing, who changed his name to Dave Jones from Robin Gunningham, apparently. Although the guy that the whatever tabloid it was that took a picture of this guy, and the guy's saying, no, I'm not Banksy, I'm a bloke who runs a building company. So we're not 100% sure if that's Banksy. But the real reason that, this is double bluff, dear listeners, because you heard it from here. This is first-hand knowledge from Lottie wATaBoUt.
He's not actually a builder, he's the son of a tool maker.
Yeah. Banksy is the son of a toolmaker. You heard it here first, listeners. Yes, who has been abseiling up those buildings all those years? Keir Starmer, out with his spray can and his stencils. And that explains why all the work is so naff and obvious as well.
Yeah. But, when I found out that, before we knew who Banksy really was, when I found out before that he was like some builder, he actually went up in my estimation, and I was like, oh, cool.
I thought that was,
I was really like,
I'd love it if
great.
Banksy is...
Some,
if Banksy is Dave Jones, the builder, I would be absolutely delighted.
I mean? Like, graph guys are
one of those, exactly.
Oh, awful.
Exactly. Am I allowed to talk about the graph wedding that we went to?
Don't.
No, I'm not allowed to talk about that.
I mean, it's not everyone who does it, but
I think Stuart Semple might have been there, but I wasn't sure.
We lived in Bristol.
If I had known, there would have been Moida.
It's just
or at least a duel.
It's awful. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I'd never want to see the frontage of a Lucy and Yak store surrounded by graffiti by people called Tarquin ever again.
Okay, well that brings me to my second new conspiracy theory. The problem is with thinking of conspiracy theories now, you can't go extreme because
everybody thinks it's a simulation.
Well, no, I mean you can't go really extreme in terms of weirdness or violence, or because all of that is in the Epstein files. There is nothing more. I've never seen any. Well, I've not looked at the images, but I've read some stuff, and I've never read anything more extreme than that. What was I talking about? Just you can't.
My
new conspiracy theory.
You can't have conspiracy theories when
Lucy
we live in hell. So we're in hell. So everything's permitted apparently. Yeah.
Well, those Lucy and Yak dungarees. You know them, don't you? You've seen people wearing them, haven't you? Well,
oh God,
those dungarees are not what they seem.
No.
Every pair of Lucy and Yak dungarees when the people wearing them have to go to the lavatory, and when the Lucy and Yak dungarees, because the people wearing the dungarees, they got to take all their clothes off to go to the lavatory. So when the person wearing the Lucy and Yak dungarees takes all their clothes off to go to the lavatory, and those dungarees are all over the public toilet floor in all the urine and everything like that.
It's awful.
Don't
wear a baby grow.
The baby grow, which is all over the toilet floor at that point, is actually sending messages to Russia about the kind of people who wear Lucy and Yak dungarees, and B, where they go to the lavatory, and this is being used to harvest plasma from bourgeois people in the West, which is being used to feed Russian children in workhouses whose earlobes are being monitored by a small probe that is lodged you know where in Elon Musk's body, who is actually a robot, because the real Elon Musk died with Paul McCartney in 1967, and Paul McCartney, the one who's living now, is really Mae Musk, the mother of Elon Musk. Oh, well, that's for a conspiracy theory.
I know when Paul McCartney actually died.
When?
Shortly after the Abbey Road picture was taken, there was a traffic accident and they ran him over on the zebra crossing. Was it
on that zebra crossing? Oh my gosh. Wasn't it, so so they made the album. They went and did their photo shoot on the zebra crossing. Paul took his little shoes off because his feet were too hot. Too hot.
Was it Paul? I can't.
Yeah, Paul, that's why he's dead, because he doesn't have his shoes on. But he took his shoes off, guys, not because he's dead, which Ringo confirmed a couple of years ago in a press conference to the National Enquirer. Not because he didn't have his shoes off because he's dead. He had his shoes off because he's a bit of a hippie, and honestly, in Abbey Road, you know someone who worked at Abbey Road. Doesn't it get hot in there? Gets very hot. Paul's feet, they were just roasting. Oh well, Paul told me. Paul told me this himself. Paul's feet are just, but you must know from working in studios. Do you remember?
I mean, it's quite big, so it's airy.
Well, yeah, but you know when Paul McCartney's in there,
these like panels that you can move about. It's really interesting.
Yeah, but when like John, Paul, George and Ringo are in that studio with their respective chi modulating in the space, then that room's going to get hot. So Paul just thought, you know what, I don't care, I don't give a damn, I'm in the Beatles, if I want to take my shoes off, I'm going to take my shoes off. So then he took them off, and then they walked across the road and the guy took a snap. And then are you telling me that immediately after that he got hit by a car?
Yeah, I reckon.
Well, that's tragic. So the guy who's Paul McCartney now is actually Elon Musk's mother, and Elon Musk died getting hit by a car when he was hanging out with Paul McCartney as a small child. Paul McCartney.
Everything's hidden in plain sight.
Everything is hidden in plain sight, which does seriously seem to be the mechanism that this society operates by. Don't believe anything anybody tells you, and don't trust anybody. And
no,
I saw somebody, I saw somebody saying that, you know that thing when you're around like certain people and they just give you a funny feeling. They're baby eaters. They're the baby eaters.
Engaging in ritual murder. I mean, I don't really think that. I don't understand why, like, our personal safety, the kind of discussion around it, is being discussed in the terms of, like, oh, well, you know, maybe that's the conspiracy. And it's like, well, hang on a minute. If there are, like, active cannibals about, I sort of want to know, especially considering I think I ate one of them. No, that's to come later. No, especially considering I think I met one of them, so I might have ended up being eaten. So you know what I mean? I think I'm allowed to have an opinion on it. What about the people I worked with? Did any of them get eaten?
We probably need to have a conspiracy theory about trans, because the conspiracy theory type people, they really want to continue to hate trans people, don't they? So we need a conspiracy theory about trans people. Now let me think. Candy Darling, the 1960s goddess of Warhol's factory. She is also in Werner Schrader's beautiful film The Death of Maria Malibran, and the Velvet Underground song Candy Says is about Candy Darling. Candy Darling, this exquisite creature. Well, Candy Darling actually never died, and she's actually just been floating around, because she can float now. She's been floating around, just injecting by night as they sleep, injecting angry men with gay.
Right.
She's been injecting all the angry men with gay, so they have even more pent-up homosexuality to fight against.
Right.
And it does, in the short term, it makes them more aggro, but in the slightly longer term, well, their dress sense is going to improve, their taste in music is probably going to improve, they're going to probably start doing some more culturally interesting things, maybe take up an interest in botany. Who knows? The world is your oyster, and Candy Darling floats around doing that. And my next conspiracy theory is that IBM actually stands for IB Molotov, because computers were invented by the same guy on the same day as the Molotov cocktail. Now you think about that. That's a good one, isn't it? That was a good conspiracy theory. The difference engine, this is my fifth conspiracy theory, the difference engine wasn't actually the first computer. The first computer was made by someone else, and it was called the same engine. Yeah, conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theory number 6. Jesus was a white American bloke. Don't we live in a fun world, listeners? And we're not talking about the utter joke, corruption, crime ring which passes for Western government.
It's just embarrassing at this point, isn't it? I don't know what to say. Like,
no, what can you say?
You know what I mean? I talk to people in Gaza, and what can you say at this point? I don't know what to say. It's just, I'm like, Oh, it's just embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an embarrassment.
It is embarrassing. And when we started working with naughty babies,
Oi.
that's the guinea pig.
No.
When we started working with Palestinian artists, I did not conceive that almost 3 years later it would still be going on. Like, if you'd have said that to me, I would have said, well, that's insane. The world must have stepped in by then.
Really, it's just, I just don't know what to say.
No.
I mean, like, no one will talk to me anymore. I have people shouting at me, people shouting through the window and that, and all the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just don't really know how to respond anymore. I'm not going to respond anymore. I don't know how to respond without swearing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could just imagine what I'm going to say to you.
Yeah, there is no point indulging in the conversations. Yeah.
We all have to live on this planet together.
If you condone fascism, which is what that is, then I have nothing to say to you.
Well,
If after 3 years of watching a Holocaust, after 3 years of watching a Holocaust, you can still say to me, oh yeah, but some of those Muslims, then it's not that I don't want to talk to you, but I don't know what to say to you. You're crazy.
Like, you know that book by Rennie Edo Lodge, that Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, well, you know, why I'm no longer talking to white bourgeois people, particularly about anything at all.
Yeah.
Anything. I'm done talking to, like, people who, obviously it's not just white bourgeois people, but, like, the culture surrounding this whole, like, materiality, kind of, like, nice, suburban, whatever it is, like, you know what it is, it's just made up, isn't it?
Yep.
It's made up, and it's costing the planet, like, having this, like, bland, middle Isle of Amazon, beige roll neck culture. Like, it's, you know, it's killing everything. And, like, also, it sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks. Like, what, really, you want an entire future where the only thing that's left is Marvel films?
Yeah, are you really?
Marvel films and Botox, little bags of dog.
Are they really enjoying this? Are they really enjoying this culture? The people I feel much worse for is young people. Well, I saw a story actually come up today. There's been a story that the people spending most time on the internet is not the young people, it's people from their, like, 30s, 40s upwards.
Well, there was this whole thing.
And older people. But young people have never known the world without these stupid phones and everything being focused and centralised around the screen, which is totally alien to me. It's not how I live. It's not what I do. And, like, young people they don't know that you can make a band, you can put on a show,
no, but
you
the thing
can
is, like,
go for a walk.
The thing is, like, the whole culture has gotten a lot more sort of you know, not being allowed to go out in public space and do anything. Like, there isn't really anywhere you can go and hang out or like be in public space without having to make a transaction. Like, and also the other thing of, like, when you're out in public, you're inevitably gonna need the toilet, aren't you? And there isn't anywhere that we now live in a culture where you're expected to pay money to go to the toilet and like pay money for water.
Pay money to get those Lucy and Yak dungarees all over the floor.
You know, no wonder no one's going out and expressing themselves if it is if, like, you know, water and being allowed to go to the toilet costs money. So I mean, those are sort of the basic things that you need before everything else, and everything costs money. So no wonder no one's expressing themselves. And I think it really has, like kind of insidiously drilled its way into the culture, this thing of not having any public space. Because now whenever I talk to any young people, like, none of them have ever even considered things like getting on stage or or expressing themselves if they're slightly nervous. And I can't do that. And it was sort of like, but when I was younger, like, no one really people didn't really have as much of a problem with expressing themselves in public. It was kind of starting a band or like being a singer or something. I remember there was a time, like, I was in London and remember having a conversation with someone saying, oh, it's really interesting, like every other person that you meet is like either like makes music or is like a rapper or a singer or something, and or like a dancer, and it was like everybody there was a big kind of expression thing. And I read some quote by a 90s supermodel like the other day, saying that sort of when she was modelling and was kind of involved in the entertainment industry, people were sort of like going out listening to music, partying, dancing and stuff like that, and staying up until like 5 a.m. and then going to work the next day looking like they've stayed up till 5 a.m. and everything. She was sort of saying now all the models are like kind of walking around showing how sort of like virtuous and healthy they are, and like
but at the same time,
yoga and stuff. It's like,
ambassadoring for brands,
right.
which sucks. Which I've already been very
it's not really
vocal.
any personality. It's all about this kind of like virtuous thing about I drink a lot of kale smoothies even though I exclusively meat.
That's not virtuous, that's just eating.
Okay, so we're not talking about the war, we're not talking about the insane death cult which runs our society, we're not talking about the fact that sensible, intelligent people seem to have been completely taken in by propaganda. We're not going to talk about any of that. We're going to talk about the more positive and interesting and speculative things, you know. But I will say this, it does sound from gossip circulating that the towels of this world are going to be a bit safer. Have you noticed less of your towels going missing this last week, dear listener? Well, that's not a coincidence, and that's all I will say. I was thinking of making a lovely AI video, Lottie, of myself going into a nice chicken restaurant and having a nice... Do you know what I'd like to do in the AI video? I'd love to have a conversation with a barista, because I've never done that. Never had a conversation with a barista. Do you know why, Lottie? Do you know why? I've never had a conversation with a barista because I'm too shy. I admire them too much. I don't know how they do what they do. I mean, making a cup of coffee, you know? So I've never had a conversation with a barista.
I mean, I think anyone who can sort of get up and leave the house and
that is impressive.
Down a customer service facing position is really quite amazing, really.
Do you know, I'd love one of those tops, that one of those t-shirts. They're always black, aren't they? Black t-shirts with the white text, usually on the back, never on the front, always on the back, that says barista. And dear listeners, to make this dreadful society, this dreadful thing we've done to the world, more fun and interesting, one of the things you can do is wear the clothes of professions that you do not ply yourself, and then you get introduced into the magical sort of secret worlds of these different jobs. If you just go around in a high-vis jacket, all sorts of things can happen to you. I had someone screaming at me in a high-vis jacket not long ago, even though my high-vis jacket is covered in like drawings of crucifixes and skulls and bones and all that in marker pen, and an angry lady thought I was the BT man, and I parked her van I parked my van in her parking slot. And I also had a period where not because this was an accident. This was the first time I did it. Just because I like check trousers, so I got a pair of blue and white check trousers, and then every time I went out, a chef always asked me how my day had been and stuff. And initially it was really confusing because it would be like off-duty chefs, so they were in the civvies, so I didn't know it was a chef. And so people would like just some guy would come up to me and ask me how many heads I'd done that day, and
What do you mean 7?
No, not severed heads.
Okay.
They say heads for how many people ate. But maybe he meant severed heads.
You
I mean, we don't know that well. But I got to know a little bit the ins and outs of secret chef world, and with whatever it was I was talking about before, I got to know the ins and outs of that. But I've never owned one of those black T-shirts with white text that says barista on the back. And if I did own one of them, if the weather be clement, I'd go outside without a jacket on, which I haven't done for a while, have I? I'd go outside without a jacket on, and I'd walk around like a barista. It's a shame I don't have long hair anymore, because I could have done a top knot, and I can walk around in the streets like a barista, and then other baristas will come up and talk to me, and if they're in their civvies it won't matter, because I will presume they're a barista if they're coming up and talking to me about baristering, and I will get to know the secret ins and outs of the shady world of the barista. There does seem to be some link between the top knot and Tel Aviv, but we'll not go down that path today, because we're not going to talk about how dreadful absolutely everything is. We're just going to have fun instead, because this is, after all, magical fun time. And I am just, as you probably gathered, listeners, absolutely brimming with fun. I'm always brimming with fun. And I do think, in the apocalypse, if the meteor is coming towards the planet,
I mean, it'd be a bit of a relief, really.
right at this stage. But with the meteor coming towards the planet, when they show, like in movies, the meteor's coming towards the planet, everybody's in a panic, and everybody's running around and going, "No!" and everyone's hitting each other and being violent, and people are stealing flat screen TVs and edible gummies and God knows, and but why would you do that? Like, if you knew the imminent annihilation was going to happen, what you should be doing is having a party. You should be having fun. If your time is limited, like all our time is limited.
It sort of depends on people's definition of fun, really. There's quite a lot of definitions of fun that I really don't think people should be doing.
Okay, okay, what about this then? You should be having the fun. You have the fun, and then it's not a problem. Because the fun...
Yeah, don't eat people.
Yeah, don't eat people. The fun is dependent on... Like, something can't be fun unless it's, like, contagious, making other people have fun a bit. The exception to that is if your fun is annoying a really pompous person, and then that just adds to the fun. Because people who aren't pompous also enjoy the pompous person, and the fact that they are pompous implies that the pedestal they've put themselves on maybe needs to, they need to like come down a few steps from that big umpire's seat. Now, if I had an umpire's chair, I would lord it over, Lottie. Do you know how much I would lord it? I would lord it.
I'd really like one.
I'd love one.
I can't change light bulbs without blacking out, so I could sit on the seat and it would be less scary.
Hey! Now that is a very practical use.
Because, like, if you live on your own and you have sort of fainting spells,
it can be terrifying.
It can be difficult to do basic household upkeep.
Yeah. Yes, with my neurological problems, I do sometimes wonder when I'm like standing on a chair doing something, whether I might just disappear from the world for a few hours at that point, which wouldn't be great. Well, Lottie's left the room to get ready to dig a lovely hole down into the volcano, because for the past almost exactly 40 minutes we've just been teetering on the precipice, dear listeners. We've just been teetering on the precipice of the fun, and imminently we are going to go into the volcano of the fun. Lottie is about to open the volcano of the fun, which is still possible to have, even in the most terrible times. I would say, actually, if you want to see people who know how to have the fun in even the very worst, most unimaginable circumstances, I give you the Palestinian people. And for anyone who would say, don't make generalizations, I am going to make generalizations, because the culture around you and the community around you impacts individual behavior, and that impacts communal behavior. So it is sometimes okay to make statements about demographics. Otherwise, how would they be doing any market research? The Palestinian people have, each and every person in Gaza has been tortured for the last 2.5 years, and yet they still sing. They sing a lot, and they dance, and they make art. One artist who has turned her tent into this astonishing art gallery. I wish I could remember her internet handle. But just, look at all of these individual remarkable people. You can make generalizations about people, as you can also say that the English on the whole are quite slovenly and selfish. And I know that isn't everybody, but I'm not talking about you individually, unless I am talking about you. You know who you are. Yeah. So here we are in the volcano. I was just telling the listener, Lottie, that we were for the first 40 minutes, which was now 2 minutes and 31 seconds ago. We have been teetering on the precipice of the volcano of the fun, and now we're in the middle of deep in the heart of the volcano of the fun, which means we're definitely not going to talk about how absolutely terrible everything is.
There's our friend Satan again. Satan, what do you reckon of all of the people who are doing all these really, I don't know, dressing up in their sort of supposedly satanic murder rituals? Or was that? Oh, it's really pretentious, and there wasn't a conception of Satan before Christianity, so any kind of blame on it is actually just to kind of assuage guilt so they don't feel quite so much like a murderer. Oh yeah, I agree as well. Cool, cheers, thanks for clearing that up. He's got a sign that says "Not in my name."
Wow.
Bye! So there you go.
There you go.
From the man himself.
Yeah. What, I mean...
He also told me that LaVey was right, and he really likes a good
organ music, fairground
music.
music. Yeah, he's not really into dissonance, because at first I thought, when I saw LaVey saying that Satan isn't really into dissonant modernist music, I thought that was a little strange. But then I realised that actually God's music is like Olivier Messiaen, which is extremely dissonant. God's music is the music that UFOs make when they're trumpeting from the sky.
I think that because Messiaen uses a lot of diminished fifths, doesn't he? and stuff like that. So
Well,
I mean, the
there's
diminished
all sorts.
fifth is dissonant, and the church initially said that was Satan's, the devil's overtone and everything, the devil's interval or whatever. But actually, it's a really nice sort of. I guess it's the musical equivalent of a palindrome. It's the same either side. So it's like this nice.
Oh, that's a very nice way
it sits in the middle,
of
so
thinking of it.
like, you don't imagine the keyboard C to F sharp, and then F sharp to C above, is the same. So it's actually like dissonance is, I don't know, the church. Like Satan likes his da 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 da. He likes his melodic stuff, whereas the gods like things that sound like planets smashing into them.
And I would think
Satan probably wants some sort of like hold music vaporwave stuff because he's got to look after all of the people in the Epstein files.
Oh,
So yeah.
I mean, Satan has to
As
hang
in, like,
out.
make sure they don't.
Satan has to hang out with some awful people. I mean, you got to feel for him, really.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've always assumed. Christian, obviously, like Christian theology is not. I can't really find many answers in it, but it's not exactly got the best logical consistency. But I've never really understood this conception of why would, if it was that Satan is the guardian of hell, wouldn't that mean that he was working for the overall theological schema, so he'd actually be within the company?
Yeah.
And then all these people at the moment are talking about, like, the Epstein files, and I keep hearing people say, oh, they're doing satanic rituals. And it's like, what, so if they were just being
That would be fine,
and killing
fine.
people, that would be fine, would it? I mean, that's very strange. So it's this thing again of people don't want to accept responsibility for it. So
But you know
they
what's
say
also very interesting?
it's because of a made-up thing, so that they don't feel guilty about it.
We were told that religion declined. We were told, and we were told that everyone was an atheist, really. And actually, it turns out that everyone is like afraid of Satan. When they hear the word, they're like, oh, they were doing Satanism. What does that mean to you?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
If it's LeVay Satanism, it means that they were like dressing up and dancing with snakes and playing organ music.
But I mean, would they? I don't understand why the bad thing in the situation is that they're doing the Satanism, not that they're murdering and torturing people. Like, why is it more shocking that... So what, you don't find the torture and the murder shocking? Like, this whole thing of, like, David Icke's been going on about how it's, like, lizards for years, and then I keep seeing people still talking about, like, oh, it's this thing that is worshipping this other thing. And it's like, what are you talking about? That sounds like they all think that it works.
Yeah.
It sounds like they all think that, oh, well, I guess that's how you get money.
But that's what I mean. I think
doing a sacrificial ritual.
It's been a psyop that religion disappeared because, like, the elite practice.
The biblical Satan is real, and it's not even in the Bible.
No.
It's not even in the Bible.
And they're doing these rituals to a satanic overlord. But what people...
It's a frat club.
Yeah, it's a frat club, and like the satanic overlord is fictitious.
It's like Buffy equivalent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
they watched loads of Buffy and thought we'll have a bit of that, and it's daft. And these guys are daft. They're idiots. Like, this is the best thing to say about them is that they are morons. And the fact that and then like, well, people like my parents would say, oh yeah, but they've made money. It's like, is that how you measure anything?
Well, I mean, money's made up.
Yeah, money's made up. It's been revealed.
Hasn't
it been revealed recently that the West just printed it?
Well, I mean, that was ages ago. That's how they got out of the banking thing. It's called quantitative easing.
Right.
You just make it up. You make up the value of things. It's all made up. Whenever you're getting asked to do a business plan, how does anyone know the future?
I always thought
made up.
quantitative easing referred to the consumption of fibre gel. But no, it does not. It refers to, what does it refer to?
Oh, it's just
Printing money. Printing money.
Like, well, so what's the point? You know what I mean? I've been made to feel really bad for not being able to, like, conjure up £4,000 a month. And it's sort of like, well, you're competing with the system, which is run by people who practice ritual murder, and they just print the money anyway. So what's the point of bothering? Yeah. There's no point in, and you know, stop making people feel bad about being poor.
Yeah, precisely. You
know, it's artificial anyway. I wouldn't be poor if everything was not owned by a small handful of people. If I was in a situation where I was actually, you know, we're in a situation where you're technically not allowed to stand anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, so what? So I got to compete with that, right? I mean, you know, I don't care.
You have to pay for water.
I'm in the same position, really, as I would have been pre whatever medieval and stuff. So I just don't care. It's made up. Like, it's artificial that I'm poor. It's a made up scenario imposed by somebody else. It doesn't dictate anything about my character. So if you're like a normal person, as in you're not one of these like super rich people, then just stop demonising poor people. You're doing exactly what, like, you know, the people who are like doing ritual murder at the temple of Ronald McDonald. You're doing exactly what they want. So, you know, that's don't be a horrible person.
Yeah. You know what I want to know? Is Ronald McDonald his real name or his stage name? What do you think?
I think his
We've never been told where he was born, have we?
We're sort of in this like sort of void of evil, really, isn't it?
Was he born in a void of evil?
I mean, it's what happens eventually, I think.
Do you think he might not really...
It's teleologically inevitable.
Do you think he might not really be like Russian or from North Korea? Or there must be a conspiracy theory about Ronald McDonald. He isn't who he claims to be or something. Or is he just the epitome of evil? The door opened when I said that.
There you go then.
When I said, is he the epitome of evil, the door opened on its own.
Like, you heard it here first.
Oh, we gotta find ways of distracting ourselves from what seems to be coming for the world. I mean, singing is a reasonable way to make radio, but I'm gonna be like John Cleese.
Well, start growing veg now if you have that ability.
Yeah, probably start growing vegetables, folks.
We should all be doing that, and then it won't, we can cooperate with each other.
Yeah. I, maybe, you know, one thing that I've never done, I've made music obviously for human audiences, and I've made music for interdimensional or interstellar audiences, and I've also made quite a lot of music which is supposed to be for the enjoyment of machines, but I have never, and this surprises me really, I've never composed music for plants. I've thought about it a lot. I remember being about 15 and sitting in my earth parents' backyard and thinking, looking at the branches on a tree, I guess, or a bush, and realizing how every single line that grows, and then another line grows off that, and then another line grows off that, and another line grows off that, and it's the same pattern, but it's consistently different, and it's consistent variation upon itself, and that's how nature operates. So I wanted to make plant-like music for a long time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that plant-like music would be the kind of music plants would like.
First song I wrote was about plants.
Can you sing it?
It was about how it's nice to be in the crematorium on the Isle of Wight because like there's a lot of plants.
I think that
Like
if you
mushrooms
played that to your seeds, they would really like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. That was the first
Yeah.
song
Do you-
I wrote
do
because
you-
I don't know. I had to go to I went to a funeral and I was nice garden.
Yeah. Do you think plants are into all that binaural beats stuff?
I want to spend the day in the crematorium, in the crematorium. It was like that. I want to spend the day.
Yes, more.
I don't want to. It's sad.
I want to spend the day in the crematorium
Yeah.
with all the nice plants and all the nice twigs.
Ashes scattered everywhere. Oh, it was about. I can't remember the plant. Oh, I can remember. I'm just saying that I can't because I don't want to do it anymore.
Fair. That is fair. In the apocalypse, I've been recommending singing as an excellent way of passing the time, and I do it quite a lot. And but equally, if you don't want to sing, that's also fine.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to relax a bit. If it's the apocalypse, everyone should, chill out a bit and then start to cooperate with each other.
I was thinking about the thing with like Debussy sort of stopped playing for at least a year and a bit when the First World War broke out. I guess I haven't actually played any music for months now, really. Apart from a bit, and there's like a lot of musicians stopped playing when Billie Holiday didn't sing in prison, understandably, because she was also in prison. So, but I don't know. The apocalypse is bad, and I can't understand why. Other musicians drop out of society and get depressed. I mean, who went off and hung out with didn't Lenin go and hang out with the...
Lenin went to Zurich and went to the cabaret Voltaire and saw the Dadaists doing their Dadaist performances. Now let's just say a small word on Dada here. Dada is not the understanding that bourgeois comedians but what bourgeois comedians think it is. Dada wasn't quirky. Dada was the kind of entertainment Lenin would have liked, because Dada was about rage. Healthy rage at a system which had allowed so much death to happen in World War One. And now we don't, on the whole, although the Dadaists wasn't true, a very small amount of people, but we certainly need more people displaying their revulsion at the world that we live in, and not just saying, I'm just going to get up with me.
I can't do anything about it, so I guess I'll just ignore it while it's on fire. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff came out of grief, and it all came out of, like, people effectively dropping out of society, and, like, I read about, people who were thinking people in the past who I don't think, as well as, like, how, like, murder is really a horrible thing. I can't even have to say this. I also don't think inflicting like this world on people who aren't directly being murdered is also really bad.
Yeah.
Like, how can you live in it?
Yeah.
When like the predominant sound is screaming.
People have only been saying that murder is sometimes just fine since the start of the genocide of the Gaza Strip. It's never been said before that. And the fact that you then had to preface some information with murder is bad shows that Western humanity
is
Oh, I mean,
in
really?
a really bad
Oh,
place.
it's pretty full on, isn't it?
Yeah.
That I have to actually point out that maybe also like watching murder is not good. I mean, for anyone, and like I think we've gotten so detached now that like I tried to watch the Amazon TV adaptation of The Man in the High Castle. Which Philip K. Dick's book about if the Nazis had won.
I saw some of
they
it.
did sort of win,
It
didn't
was
they? Because
funny.
everyone's
Well, yeah,
a
it
Nazi.
rather looks like it, doesn't it?
So, because of all the rampant Nazism, they've sort of had a rebrand and went everywhere into the ether.
Yeah.
Ethereal Nazism. It's embedded into the walls.
Yeah, well, went to Argentina initially. didn't they?
Right, just you know, and I was watching this, and there's a scene in it where a monk sets himself on fire, like the famous incident, and as a protest, and then the couple who are like they're good people and guys or whatever, they're the heroes in the thing. They see it, and then they go into the sort of safe house that they're going for, and they're like, oh, that's horrible. We've just seen someone being burnt alive, and then they go, oh well, you know, best not to think about it, and then it moves on, and it's all like, what? Okay, well, that's the depiction in popular media of people setting themselves on fire. Of people going, oh well, never mind. Yeah, it just sort of like what, like.
Is that how people think?
Is that how people think now? That they're so detached, they're like, oh, well, I guess you can't, well, we should probably just move on.
Yeah. It's pretty wild discovering that humanity is not the animal you thought it was.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's just that the Western, the consumerist thing has destroyed the soul.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It is gone.
Like even people I know who used to seem to have a soul don't have a soul anymore.
And
Where's it
also-
gone?
And there's
It must be somewhere.
There's all this stuff around the periphery of that, which is if you say anything that isn't exactly like the particular whatever rhetoric that you're supposed to use, like anything at all. I don't mean like anything like whatever. I don't mean like any kind of positions that are extremist or anything. I mean literally if you use any discursive things that aren't around the hi, how are you, how's it going, what have you been doing for work lately, if you're not sticking within this very specific rhetoric space of like this allowed checklist of things to talk about, people really don't want to know you at all. You're actually more unpopular than the Nazis.
I really enjoy going to see here in Shipton Abbott the post office man, because the post office man asks everybody who comes in, how are you? And people give the answer, yeah, okay. Sometimes some of them chat and they get engaged in conversations. Some of which the poor guy clearly doesn't want to be engaged in, as the big queue is coming there, but he can't get out of it. But usually, Mr. Postman asks how I am, and I will give some reply. I refuse to do the social contract of, yeah, I'm alright, because this seems a waste of time, and it's difficult because in general, given the global situation, none of us should be all right as such. We should all be terrified, but also looking forward to the brilliant, bright, utopian future which will inevitably grow out of all this nonsense. Anyway, the guy in the post office, he said, how are you? And I replied and gave some answer about the external world being difficult to live in and so on. And then Mr. Post Office sort of didn't reply and just kept getting on with his work. Didn't say anything. Didn't make any response. And then a couple of days later, I went back into the post office. Speaking of which, I still haven't posted that parcel that I must post. I went back into the post office, and the lady, the bourgeois lady in front of me. It's okay to call them bourgeois. They are bourgeois.
To this time.
Yeah, the bourgeois lady in front of me was talking with the man. He said, "How are you?" And then they struck a small conversation, which I can't remember how long it was, but they were basically talking about the weather. And then the guy said, "Oh, look at us talking about the weather." And, I knew what he was talking about. But the bourgeois lady said, "Oh, I know, I love talking about the weather. Like the first thing I do every morning when I wake up is I open my weather app." Yeah.
I mean...
So the bourgeois...
There's a problem there.
Yeah, there's a problem there. There's a problem. It's called, they are oblivious. They have built this world around themselves of comfort and security, corner baths, hot tubs, and locally grown meat. And
Grown.
yeah,
Grown.
exactly. And so are completely oblivious to reality. And what it is that I think that people in the West take reality, or that they think of reality as like as like a streaming service, and they take which bits they want. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's awful. Oh, did you know that the Earth is flat? Did you know that pancakes are actually spherical? It's true.
God.
No, that's my new conspiracy theory, guys. The spherical pancake. Now, you might think when you are eating a pancake, whether it's Shrove Tuesday or naughty, whether it's Shrove Tuesday or not, you might think, well, we do always miss Shrove Tuesday. Shrove Tuesday.
Can't eat them any other time. It's illegal.
It is illegal.
If you don't do it then,
it's illegal.
That's a whole year.
Exactly.
Where you're not allowed to eat a good shrove. Who doesn't like a good shrove?
A good shrove. Is the shrove the pancake? I don't know. No. I'm going to call them shroves from now on. Anyway, so your shrove, you are perceiving your shrove as flat, but this is conspiracy theory number 7 or something like that. The shrove being made as it is from the flour of bread and the seed of life of the chicken, if you put that in a frying pan with some sunflower oil, let it sizzle for a bit. When you do that flip, that pancake enters briefly, momentarily, a tesseractoidal, 5-dimensional reality and goes into a kind of stasis of a consistently spherical shape through every dimension above the 3rd dimension, so 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, etc. dimensions. That pancake that you are eating is perfectly spherical, but in our 3-dimensional, and also have you ever noticed when you take a picture of a pancake, it looks flat in the room where you are, but if you take a picture of a pancake, when you look back at the photograph, it's still flat on the photo. Have you ever noticed that, Lottie? You've noticed that. And so...
I told you I always miss Shrove Tuesday, so I never get to take a photo.
You never get to do it.
Ever.
No. And so, your shrove, cylindrical not cylindrical, spherical in all those dimensions, is perfectly flat in our dimension, but it explains much as the way that the existence of primordial black holes explains where your socks went. The spherical multidimensional nature of a pancake explains why you feel so satisfied after such a small, flat disc, because it doesn't seem like much sustenance, does it? But that's because some of the food you are eating is tessaractoidal, and the government don't want you to know that, do they, Lottie?
No.
No. Learn to have fun by singing songs you don't know. Get the karaoke on the screen and sing the song even though you never heard it before. You've got to try and guess the melody, yeah. Take your baby by the hand and make her do a high handstand. Take your baby by the heel. Do the next thing that you feel. Advising our dance hall days. Oh, I get it. We were cool on cries. When you and everyone we knew could believe, do, and share what was true. And I say, dance all days, love. Take your baby by the hair and pull her close and there. And take your baby by the ears and play upon her darkest fears. Yeah. Advice in a dance hall days. We were cool on craze when all you and everyone we knew could believe, do, and share what was true. And I say, dance hall days, love. Dance hall days. Dance hall days, love. Oh. Take your baby by the wrist, and in her mouth an amethyst. Take your baby by the wrist. What does that mean? And in her eyes two sapphires blue. And you need her and she needs you. And you need her and she needs you. And you need her and she needs you. And you need her, she needs you. We've established this. And you need her and she needs you. In thighs. In our dance hall days. We were cool on craze. When all you and everyone we knew could believe and do and share what was true. And I say, dance hall days, love. Dance hall days, love. Dance hall days, love. Dance hall days, love. Written by Jack Hughes, Nicholas Feldman, Darren Costin, published by Spirit One Music, copyright to Digitrax Entertainment. And I'd just like you to know that was 3 minutes 58 seconds long, in the key of G and in the style of Wang Chung, but not performed by Wang Chung, performed by some MIDI whirlwind wizard of the ivories, which is another thing that you can do to distract yourself from just how dreadful everything is. You can become either a whirlwind wizard of the ivories, or equally, you can become fascinated by the wondrous world of MIDI. Oh, and what leaps and bounds have taken place in that world in the last 30 years. I can tell you, because I'm an old man of MIDI now. I've been doing MIDI since I was about 10 years old. I think probably 10 years old, yes. All that time doing MIDI, and never moved on to Maxi, been stuck in this mediocre space ever since. Maxi is the music technology that they give to the elite. So if you eat babies, you get given Maxi, which is a musical system where your own smug self-satisfaction just generates what do you call it? Liquid drum and bass. That's what a Maxi setup gets you. But if you keep working hard in school, kids, and get yourself, some good networking in, some good connections, then you will be able to move from that MIDI to Maxi setup, and then make some lovely musique d'ameublement for the baby eating parties of the rich. And that's where Wang Chung leads me. This is the problem in trying to be more like John Cleese.
Points back to cannibal.
Everything does point back to the cannibal paedophiles.
I mean, I was saying this to my doctor, that it really does feel like we've been living in a sort of fantasy of like a stunted, coke-addled, multi-millionaire / billionaire, psychopath bloke.
Yeah.
Since about the late 70s, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful before that as well, wasn't it, really? And then before that it was awful, and it's just been awful for ages.
Yeah. We, here in the West, have constructed a really awful society where day-to-day life is, I don't see many people who look like they're having much fun. Much of the fun. I don't see many people looking like they are having much fun. And one has to question why, because you only have one life, dear listeners. Don't you want to spend that life having fun? Can't you there's stuff to do. There's loads of interesting things in this world, and none of you are getting the chance to do it because you're giving all your time and energy to a system which just steals from you and turns out literally eats your children. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Now, if Toto, yacht rock band Toto were put in charge, things would be different, wouldn't it, Lottie? Every single public square would be a plaza, wouldn't it? There'd be no aeroplanes, just flying yachts. Muscle vests, the sale of muscle vests would go through the roof, and instead of buildings, we'd all have massive bucks that we don't live in, but we stand on top of, raw and oiled in the elements like the boys from Toto. Also, in the Toto society, dogs wouldn't be allowed because it would cause confusion.
And also for that reason, no one's allowed to watch The Wizard of Oz. But apart from that, I think everything would be much better now if rather than, well, basically, you put the people who make yacht rock in charge rather than the people who listen to it. And you might end up with something a little better than this.
I mean, there was a whole Patrick Bateman American Psycho bit about all this sort of stuff, wasn't there?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you want me to talk on the radio?
Talk on the radio.
Okay, well, yeah, because I rarely do talking. Well, I do.
You
I
do
don't know.
do
Do I do
talking.
the talking?
Yeah, of course you do the talking.
I mean, I find that it's kind of it's very hit and miss with the talking with me because of the whole autism situation, or mutism they call it, which I personally think is actually the wrong word. I think existential horror is a better, and the agape of despair is a better description of it, but that's probably not sort of marketable enough.
Existential horror, well, that's not that marketable, but if Ari Aster or someone like that did...
Actually, why is there not that more as a genre?
Yeah, the existential horror genre.
I did start shooting a short horror film in an IKEA once, which I guess was sort of, I don't know whether you could call that existential horror, more sort of kind of weird, creepy, neoliberal, flat pack induced horror, really.
Yeah. Creepy, neoliberal induced, flat pack horror.
IKEA.
That sounds like the future to me.
Have you been to an IKEA?
You know, I have actually never been in an IKEA.
I've been in
I've
one
heard
twice.
horror stories set in IKEAs from everyone who's been to IKEA.
I mean, I think, the last time I was there I was crying, and the person I was with at the time had a go at me. And then the time before that, I was crying, and the person I was with at the time had a go at me. A different person.
Was it IKEA making you cry in both instances?
Yeah, it's that you're not allowed to leave. You go in and you can't leave, and then it's all this kind of weird sort of...
Oh, you mean like,
room.
is it like a one-way system? So if you get something from point C,
No, you got to walk through the whole...
you're not allowed to go back to point B?
Well, I mean, you can, but it's sort of... But anyway, you have to walk
You feel
through
like
the
you're going the wrong
you
way
have to
in the
walk through
traffic.
the whole thing to get to the end. I can't really remember why. It's a strange system. I suppose they make more money or something. But I was crying, and then the woman helped me, and she said, "Oh, it's funny. It's usually men."
Right. Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, because apparently, like, women are supposed to enjoy shopping or something.
Do IKEAs, I guess they have like furniture in them and stuff, and like shelving units. Do they also have like do they have like magical pretend rooms?
Yeah, that's the thing that's confusing, because it's all a big series of magical pretend rooms without anyone in them, and maybe that's why it's this strange sort of liminal kind of pretend house thing. I've got a problem with these, as in a fixation on them. I suppose it's because it reminds me of the sort of atomic testing sites in the Nevada desert.
Yeah, it is like that. Well, and those kind of IKEA rooms I expect would look lovely with one of those like crash test dummies sitting in there. They should do that, make it all a bit more personable, make it a bit less terrifying.
Sort of a method of getting us all used to the reality of being
Well, quite possibly. Is it true that the guy who runs IKEA is rather on the leaning rather on the right of the
I think so, yeah. I mean, there was a strange thing. He's a white supremacist. I think we should probably find out in case of the libel thing, but I'm pretty sure that he is. I mean,
do your checking.
The problem is there are just so many that I lose track.
Yeah, there's so many white supremacists that it is difficult to keep track of. It's complicated, but thanks to the wonder of the World Wide Web, Lottie is currently using a search engine.
Oh, I think it was
the
founder had past involvement with pro-Nazi groups in Sweden after and during World War II. Okay, well there you go.
Right. So
anyway,
yeah, literally.
He said it was a youthful mistake. Well, I mean, let me think about youthful mistakes I've made.
I remember.
I broke a watch once.
I remember
accidentally
shooting.
Guilty about it.
Yeah, I accidentally shot my auntie in the face with a pop gun once on Christmas Day, and everyone thought I'd done it on purpose, and I hadn't, and I was sad and embarrassed.
Yeah, well, there you go. You had some. You didn't want to do it. I felt really bad. You know, like those are youthful mistakes.
That was a youthful. Also, a youthful.
Supporting the Nazis.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I had one real bad youthful mistake. That I was hitting a tennis ball with someone on the green behind the house where I lived, and the tennis ball went in the bush, and I put my tennis racket in the bush to get the ball out, and there was a poo in the bush, and the tennis racket went in the poo, and so I never wanted to touch it again. It went in the poo. Who wants to touch things that have been in poo? Billionaires,
apparently,
rich people.
Yeah,
it seems, which is fascinating to me. Like, why is it the richer you get, the more disgusting you like? What?
I guess I really just do not. I don't understand. I guess I'm gonna have to go and watch Eyes Wide Shut again.
Yeah. The thing is, if I was really rich, I'd probably eat like the same stuff, because I eat the stuff that I want to eat. I don't like when I'm walking outside. When people walk past me, I don't imagine them basted in rosemary, you know, like it's no. In fact, prior to recently, it's the kind of thing that never crossed my mind. What would people taste like? And like you were saying, well, maybe we should eat the billionaires, but then, like you said, they would be like imagine trying to eat a piece of Donald Trump.
Well, like
I mean,
I've said,
oh my goodness!
I was describing it.
And it made you.
Yesterday, it did make me gag, and I was thinking about like eating his shoulder, and that made me gag. Like the smell, it's probably like cheese. You know, he has his problem with his things he does in public with his bowels. I mean,
it's going to be a terrible.
It's got to be really nasty. I mean, I personally don't even understand how anyone could bear to be in the same room as him, let alone listen to anything he says.
Apparently Donald Trump smells absolutely terrible, but like we were saying yesterday, I think it's possible that little father Kim Jong-un of North Korea, great leader, my lord, I think he smells quite nice.
I have to say I haven't really ever thought about
I think his oh well, I can guarantee you that his personal hygiene is very good, because you know he's got to present a good image, not like the Western politicians who just like, you know, soil themselves on a podium and then keep talking. Little father, he has at least one shower a day. And as we've already discussed, he loves a bubble bath with his rubber duckies and all that kind of thing. But because his diet mainly consists of cheese, and you would think that would mean that little father might smell intolerable, but little father favours a mild cheese. He likes
Emmental and Gouda and Edam. He likes his Dutch and Swiss cheeses. So I would say that that probably gives little father an almost sweet, creamy smell like that of a newborn baby, in which case he'd really better watch out in his dealings with Western politicians, because they like to eat that kind of thing, man. And so it came back again. It came back again.
I mean,
From trying to create some escapism from talking about little father's lovely creamy odour, it took us right back to having to confront John Cleese again, and I'm trying to be more like John Cleese, but not in the ways that John Cleese is currently displaying. I'm trying to be like John Cleese when he says, "Don't mention the war," and then does a funny walk. I do quite a lot of funny walks, don't I?
But not that one.
No, I don't do that one. But I do a lot of funny walks. But to be honest, I can't goose step. I've tried. I can't get my legs. I can't raise them like that. I'd never have made it in
I
the
mean,
can-can.
goose don't really.
Why do they call it
they
goose
don't
stepping?
really
Geese
walk-
don't do that.
they
Geese
don't walk
waddle.
like that. They kind of go along like a snake.
Yeah.
And they hiss.
All these years they've been trying to make out that geese move like fascists, and they don't.
No, well, they're quite violent, but it's not really.
Oh,
through
but
any
it's
fault of their
not.
own.
It's
They
violent.
could break your
It's
will,
violent, but it's
your
more like Mr.
arm.
Punch. It's a non-ideologized
I
violence.
mean, yeah.
But they don't walk like Nazis anyway.
No, they don't.
I've never
They-
seen a goose
No,
walking
they're
like
really,
a Nazi.
They're really nice. It's actually people who are Nazis, isn't it? And
Well,
they're
yeah.
pretty horrible to geese. They shove cones down their throats and force feed them until the liver is, until they burst and then people eat the liver.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
It's just I mean, it's just disgusting, really, isn't it?
I mean, I always thought.
Can't have any of your food without a little bit of suffering somewhere.
I always thought that animals were not, were different to us in the sense that they're not political, and so they're not divided in these stupid ways. And this is what I always thought until we found out we live with 8 guinea pigs. One of them is a Zionist. They all get on well, apart from this one guinea pig who's just trying always to just push them out and hits them with his anus. And prior to that, I just thought guinea pigs were, and all animals weren't politicized. So if any of you have got any politically inclined animals, or for that matter religious animals, get in touch, drop us a fax or something, and get in touch, and we'd love to hear about your ideologized animals. So Lottie, I'll tell you something that I discovered recently. You know that I read a lot about history and so on. You know when you see those images of old ladies putting budgerigars in their mouths? Well, it's been revealed recently that all of those budgerigars and old ladies were spy teams, and the budgie, through vibration, transmitted vital espionage information to the old ladies. So they weren't, like you do, just putting the birds in their mouths for fun, were they? Yes, we have had a ruck coming to visit, because we feed the jackdaws and the crows and the pigeons, and a ruck came to visit, and with all of the birds have come in and put their heads in Lottie's mouth, and I was astonished that the Rook even wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rook came in, it couldn't get its whole head in, but it put its beak in Lottie's mouth. And Lottie just held the Rook's beak between their teeth for a moment. And then didn't the Rook tell you a secret that you were told never to reveal to anybody ever?
Yes.
Yeah. And so they didn't tell me the secret because I'm anybody ever. And but I don't want to know the secret. Some things are best kept mysterious. Do you know what the secret is that the Rook told Lottie? Send us a fax. Yeah. Come on. We actually have a fax machine, don't we?
We do.
We have a fax machine. I don't know what the number is, but it is a fax machine.
One day I'm going to find out.
Yeah, and we can set up our fax machine, and when I say send us a fax, you can really send us a fax. Because, well, speaking of that, it seems that we are going to have some issues with the supply of power to, like, the whole world for the next 5 or 10 years because of what's happening now, thanks to the USA and Israel. There's going to be some issues with that. So we're going to have internet outages. We're going to have, we're going to have power outages. If you don't know right now, America has got all power to Cuba and is starving and freezing everybody there. Which isn't, again, really being covered in the press, which, what a strange world we live in, don't we, dear listeners? So, back to what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
I can't remember.
What brought me back to the horrible things America's doing? Everything seems to lean back to that. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what I was talking about.
Happening everywhere all at once.
Yeah, there is, and you can understand why people choose to be oblivious to it. But the thing is, if the asteroid is coming towards me, I would rather know the asteroid is coming towards me. I think some people prefer the idea of being taken by surprise by the asteroid, but I want to know when the asteroid is coming towards me, so I can fill that time with the most valuable stuff. And everybody has a different idea, of course, of what their most valuable thing is. For some people, they'll want to fill that last 24 hours doing really horrible things because they're psychopaths. But everyone else can have fun while the asteroid is coming. I was reading a wonderful book about the asteroid coming a while ago called The Hopkins Manuscript that I don't think I finished reading. And I don't know if that's the first modern text about an asteroid coming towards Earth, or I can't remember if it's an asteroid or the moon. The moon loses its orbital thing, or something.
What might cause that? Like drilling the moon, which everybody sort of bandies about as an idea. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, we could drill the moon. Well, you know what I mean? The moon is quite heavily linked up to people's periods and stuff, and violence and the tides. I really don't want Elon Musk drilling my periods,
Yeah, the level of hubris in these thoughts.
How arrogant! Isn't it embarrassing?
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing unprecedented levels of hubris, but the good news about that is that hubris is usually followed by punishment from the gods.
Well, I mean, is it?
Well, in literature at least.
Yeah. And
at least we have to hope that this is like that for that reason. But maybe maybe hell is real and we are. But maybe these people do get punished for all eternity and in fire forever.
Well,
but the problem with that,
something.
the problem that I've always had with that, with hell, or you are in flames forever. Well, obviously, if you're on fire, it really hurts. But if you'd been on fire for about 6 hours,
well, that implies that you're not that you're actually quite fire resistant.
yeah, if you'd been on fire for like 3 years, or 200 years, or 1,000 years, that would just become your state of being, and you would just be hanging out in hell, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and then if it
You'd
was
just be
a
hanging
thing
out there
where
on
you have
fire.
to keep having your memory wiped to be present and aware of being on fire, then you would only be present and aware in the moment that you'd had your memory.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be eternal
So it wouldn't be
damnation.
eternal
You
anyway,
would just
you'd
think it
always
was a
be
day or
thinking
so.
in terms of like a sort of like limited kind of temporality anyway, so the entire theological schema doesn't work, and as we can see, to do anything, I mean, obviously it doesn't work, and it contains very few answers in the Bible, apart from that bit about kidnapping all the girls and stuff. They seem to have paid attention to that bit really well.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I mean the people who were given take the ethical stuff on board probably wouldn't want to kill and everything anyway, and then the people who do want to kill everyone are never going to take the ethical stuff on board.
No.
So it's sort of like da-da-da.
Well, big revelation that we both have had.
Is that Revelations was
yeah.
actually political satire about Nero.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So,
we didn't have that revelation.
Yeah,
the academics had that revelation.
Isn't
but
it?
the big revelation
fun
that
that it
we've
wasn't
had
even about the
is
apocalypse,
that
really?
humans aren't necessarily, and I say this to everyone who thinks a lot, that humans aren't necessarily the animal that you thought they were.
Mm-mm.
They may be quite different. You might want to think about that, in fact. You might want to think about that. So, mourn though we do, we still have to find ways to make magical fun time. Now, Lottie made a magnificent magical fun time earlier on, which was, now I didn't even ask what it was packaging for, because I didn't want to ruin it. Maybe you should reveal it. But there's a lovely man in a box, isn't there? A lovely man in a box that you stood on top of our collection of
Oh
movies.
yeah, he's really happy.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he
Tell me
is.
what he looks like.
He's a square with a flap.
A flap.
It's a
Is it a mouth?
rectangular piece of cardboard,
Is the
and then that's folded in half.
oh, I
And
see.
then
Yeah.
On one half, there's a big square on half of it, of the panel,
Mhm.
and then it has some shape, a round shape, and then there's a star shape
A star shape.
for his eyes. And he looks really, really happy.
What was
Oh,
in the box that had the star shape?
some candle making stuff. That's fun, isn't it? Yeah.
It was the man from DPD, and guess what he had brought for me? He brought me a lovely parcel of some mud, which I'm going to keep with all my other lovely parcels of mud,
Sorry.
which is gonna be a very mud is going to be a very saleable commodity soon. What with the collapse of the entire system currently occurring, make sure you stock up on mud,
Yeah.
mud, glorious mud Nothing quite like it for cooling the blood. Do you know that song? The hippopotamus song.
Oh yeah.
It's a very nice song by Flanders and Swan, or Flanders and Swan.
It's also how Arnold Schwarzenegger survives Predator in the film Predator, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's been such a long
He
time.
covers himself in mud, so he can't see him with his heat sensor little eyes.
Oh, so he turns himself into like a mud man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger appears as mud.
Yeah, so the Predator thing can't see him.
Who else can be a time-travelling robot, the governor of California, and mud? Who can do that? Only Arnie. And we watched the 80s adaptation of The Running Man not so long ago with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And they're all wearing lovely spandex all the way through, because it seems inevitable. Like, I've heard like people saying that the like aliens and that, like the humanoid aliens, that they wear like spandex suits like in Star Trek and things.
Can't be.
I mean, surely not. Surely advanced civilizations don't wear spandex. Come on, like aliens, guys, you got to try harder with your clothing. If you're wearing spandex, just do something else.
Well,
Maybe.
the guy I saw had like a cloak. It looked like a sort of a monk's robe.
Yeah.
Or like a sort of travelling robe, I guess it could be.
Yeah, but he might have had like cycling equipment on underneath.
I
You
think
never
he
know.
was wearing a sort of, I don't know, it kind of looked like sort of, I guess, whatever, not necessarily military, but like knight, kind of, I don't know, like some sort of symbol on his...
Oh, really? You
I think.
never mentioned that before.
No, I did, I said he had a sort of thing on his, like a kind of medallion or something.
Oh, right.
There was something there.
And can you
but I
remember
couldn't-
the symbol?
No. I mean, maybe I could have really think about it. But anyway, I got the impression he was sort of wearing clothes for kind of travelling, but it didn't look kind of pretentious or anything.
Yeah,
Sort
well,
of
I'm glad the interdimensional
the
intelligence
cloak-
wasn't pretentious.
The cloak is obviously a good choice.
Yeah. Imagine if you had a real close encounter with aliens and they were really pretentious. They were like people from like Bridport or
yeah,
something.
I mean,
you know.
well, I mean, we are also in space, so that would be us, I guess.
I suppose we are the pretentious aliens.
I mean, the thing with the guy I saw on the tube, he had like some sort of insignia thing.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing the matter with a bit of insignia. It's also a very beautiful word, isn't it? It's one of those words that are grouped with words like... I can't remember the word I was thinking of earlier on. I was going to say cornucopia, but I like these kind of words. I like these kind of florid words in the English language. The English language is quite good at spiky, florid words, I find. And that's another way you can pass your time. You can look at spiky, florid words. It's good to look at language and think about language because we're going into a very different future, and the sort of powers that be, not the ones that David Boreanaz knows, the powers that be want you to think that the future is you dressing up like Captain Kirk and having a USB port instead of a bumhole. But that's really not the future. That's a horrid future. The future is in fact going to be, in fact, perhaps almost immediately, given the current geopolitical circumstances, the future is going to be less technological, and we'll go back to using older technologies, and I think that our use of technology in the sort of imminent future is going to be like a
almost like a charity shop use of technology, and people will start to use older technologies for the things that they are like more useful for, and we'll get away from this stupid idea that we always have to make something new. Like I saw like an advert for some new phone or something the other day, and there was a thing. The main thing about this phone was that it has something like 8 cameras on the back of it, which seems, I mean, a little. I mean, I make movies, but I use, you know, one camera's kind of fine.
What, lots of different lenses?
And it's got like, instead of one lens on the back, it's got loads of them.
But why would you, if you were that into cameras, you would have a camera, presumably.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Like, I don't have a phone, really. I've got a really cheap one, which we've had between us for years. But I have got quite a few, like, second-hand cameras and a camcorder that I used for work, because I like photography.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would need it.
They were nice, though, some of them camcorders, weren't they? They looked nice. At the time, it's funny with technology, although I actually don't think this applies anymore. But, in fact, it really doesn't apply anymore. And it won't ever again. But you didn't realise how nice some of the technology was that you were using. So everyone now is like, oh wow, doesn't tape sound wonderful?
Yeah.
But at the time, no one was going, oh wow, this tape, you know, like no one was in their studio in the 70s or 80s going, hey man, I love working with this tape, you know, that we're recording on. I love that warm quality that it has, you know? No one was doing that. They were just recording onto tape. And
but then I do actually like the quality of tape.
Of course, of course, tape sounds great. Tape sounds great, but we don't realise how beautiful...
The kind of crackling things.
Yeah, but we don't realise how beautiful stuff is until it's gone. That's always the case with technology. Like, we have this magic lantern projector, which is like one of my hobbies, is collecting these slides, and I like to stick them together and so on. And the magic lantern, it shows one still image, or you can flick between two, but there is something about the tone and texture of it which is just inherently enchanting. And the same thing applies to the stereoscope, where you have two images next to each other and then you look through the stereoscope and your brain puts the two images together.
Maybe that's why they've got all the lenses on the back of the new phones. Maybe there's going to be
so people can do stereoscopy.
Maybe there's going to be a stereoscope revival.
But then they're going to need a stereoscope viewer, but that could be just an attachment that attaches to the phone, even, or something like that. Ooh, listen to that entrepreneurs. Get onto that one. You can have it if you want to do it. You just got to believe. You've got to believe in yourself. So a stereoscope and a magic lantern, they are inherently, they're not time-based. But when you're looking into a stereoscope, you are focusing on the stereo, on the bits that appear three-dimensional. And in the ones we have, there are some stunning examples. There is one where a guy is shooting a gun on a little peak, and that peak and the guy are coming out as three-dimensional, but also the gun smoke is three-dimensional, and it looks amazing. And when looking at that,
it feels like time travel.
Yeah, but you don't want to look at it for only a second. Actually, your eyes want to discover it, discover the image, because the image has great depth. Your eye, you want to stay inside it. It's a far more immersive entertainment than any like VR type nonsense entertainment. You know, which is all, oh my God, basically what I'm trying to say is we're gonna go into the era of magic, mighty, clockwork, techno time, where young people are going to figure out exciting new things you can do with a ZX Spectrum when you wire it up to a bicycle and then figure out how to, you know, heat their street with it, or you know, putting diverse old technologies together, because we might become, who knows, you know, a kind of scavenger culture, having to look and invent, and so we're gonna have
it'll look exactly like that steampunk stuff that you're also into.
Yeah, it kind of will, but like not as
Clean.
much like Camp Festival. But oh yeah, my point is, with that kind of technology and that kind of media, it puts the spectator, or if you want to use an ugly word, the consumer, in a position of power vis-a-vis the media. Well, power's not really what I'm trying to say, but basically it puts the person who's looking at this media, it puts them in control of the duration, you know, of the time that they spend with it, and they have this personal one-on-one experience. In contrast to everything, all the media now, home media now, because remember, these things were home media. Home media now is all stuff where, you know, you have to go at its pace. A video game, you have to go at the pace of that. You go at the pace of a movie, and so the older media actually have the capacity to open up meditative or inventive spaces, whereas information barrage, contemporary media. I've never seen a Marvel movie, but I expect there's not a lot of room for reflection in the context of
Sort of like
a Marvel
somebody
movie.
shouting in your face.
Like someone shouting in your face for I don't know how long. Are they also really long? I bet you they're really long. Yeah.
I think.
Because do you know this thing that there was some sort of change in the way that cinema distribution worked, and the reason all the movies are now 3 hours long is they make more money if it's 3 hours long. So the films aren't long for any artistic or narrative reason. They're long because it makes more money if it's long, which really places, to me, that's very contemptuous of the audience. But hey, our whole culture is contemptuous of the audience, and no one seems to mind.
Well, I mean, the audience are all
you know.
contemptuous of each other, so
Yeah, that's true,
so
yeah.
it works out well in the end, I guess.
But yeah, Marvel movies aren't for you, dears. They're for the military, to make money and to propagandise. Do you want some of this vape?
I would love some of that, thank you.
So, think, guys, think. Next time you're going to say, oh yeah, but some of those Muslims, or any of these catchphrases that you say. In fact, if you find yourself saying anything that, well, in fact, if you find yourself saying directly anything you've heard someone say before, unless you're quoting them, like in an academic sense or something, don't say it. Say something different.
Get other people's thoughts out of your head.
Yeah, just have your own thoughts.
If, you know, if whatever told you to jump off a cliff, would you do it?
Would you
exactly.
do it? Yeah.
Exactly. So, we've got about 1 minute left till the end of the show, where we have, for a large part of it, I was John Cleese and I didn't mention the war. But like I said earlier, just to make clear, I don't want to be like John Cleese in the like Brexit-y kind of way. I just wanted to not mention the war and that and the international murder trafficking ring and the live open air Holocaust that we've been having to look at for nearly the past 3 years. If you have friends who still stick up for this nonsense and still say, well, it's complicated, tell them they're wrong. It's time to start telling them they're wrong. They're wrong. They're just wrong. If it was Nazi Germany, you would have told them they're wrong. Guess what? Pretty much is. They're wrong. They are wrong.
Wrong.
This is Sound Out Radio.
Bye.